every man talks about a man cave. I have an aquarium. It's a kid's dream come true. The goal was actually just enjoy myself. I always told myself that if it ever got to a point where it felt like a job, then I was going to be done. Because I started this as a hobby and I just fell in love with it. Where I see myself going, eventually, you got to put it out into the world. So it's not if I get there, it's when I get to the point where I need a bigger space. Then obviously it's moving up to a storefront. My whole childhood, I had all types of animals, but I always had a fish tank. Fast forward to going away to college, having a family, and just left all of that behind. I figured, that was all childish things. And then one day my daughter said, "Daddy, I want Nemo." And that's when my saltwater journey began. Healthy coral system starts with the chemistry of the water. So as long as your water is on point, and there's different aspects of it, so I'm not going to go into the details, but as long as your water chemistry is good, and then after that is your lighting. And once you have those two things in sync, your coral will thrive. Obviously, when you start out, anything that you start is going to seem daunting and difficult, but prepare yourself. I'm not saying that I know it all, but I've been doing this a very long time, both freshwater, brackish water, and now saltwater. There's a finesse to it because you got to pick and choose, what you want to see versus what you like, because what you like might not be what's best. Maintenance is really just what I call husbandry. So you've got to, depending on the size of the tank, you want to do either a water change every week or every other week. And if it's a larger tank, you don't have to go the water change route because it does get expensive. But there's levels to everything. There's a zen feel to having any fish tank, whether it's saltwater or freshwater. Just the sound of water alone is very calming. So at the end of the day, when I'm done with work, I can sit in front of my fish tank and just enjoy it. I can hear the water falling and watch the movements of my fish and interaction. Some fish are very interactive, actually. So a lot of times my fish, when I get close to the tank, they know that it's time to eat. So they'll actually meet me on top. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, literally. The shed was a shell. It was literally just a regular shed. There was nothing in here. So we literally had to do the insulation, put up the sheetrock, paint, do the trim, get all the equipment. I had a plumber that helped me do the plumbing. I had a carpenter that helped me build the stands for the fish tanks. I had an electrician that I paid to come in here and run, electricity throughout. There were times where I cried because I didn't know if I was going to be able to make this a reality. The most difficult part was the physical part. I can't do it myself. And mostly because my body is so frail. And I hate to use the word, but I have to own it and admit to myself that I'm not 20-something years old anymore. Without my friends, I don't think I could have made this happen. Sanchez came and he's helped me with maintenance, keeping the water chemistry to where it needs to be. Here we are, and we got it almost down to a science.
Well, he's basically like a friend to everybody. Like his character, like how the way he acts, is like being at home. Most of the time, those big chain stores, it gets too expensive. And Edwin, he's reasonable, and his prices, doesn't compare what other big stores have. So it's the best thing that happened over here. Well, Edwin's a go-getter. He doesn't stop working. So it doesn't matter like if he had help or not. If you love what you're doing, you always find a way, to get where you want to get. So he totally will make it.
I've kept aquariums my whole life, but when it came to saltwater fish and coral, keeping a reef, patience is key to being successful. A lot of people look at success as financial. For me, providing a service to my community, to my customers, and being able to share the knowledge that I've gained through this journey, that's success to me. So regardless of whether this journey ends or not, I already consider myself successful.